Hello, everyone. My name is Ro胜春. I am the wife of lawyer Ding Jiaxi, who was detained in connection with the December 26 Xiamen gathering case. I first became familiar with the community of human rights lawyers when Ding Jiaxi was detained for the first time in April 2013. Over the next 8 years, I witnessed the difficulties and deteriorating circumstances faced by human rights lawyers in their practice. It is an extremely worrying situation. I was made especially aware of this when I spent the past year and more appealing for Ding Jiaxi in the Xiamen case. I felt acutely that human rights lawyers in China are in a worsening predicament, and that we urgently need to bring this to the immediate attention of the international community and supporters who work in the legal profession around the globe.
My name is施明磊. My husband程渊and his two colleagues, Liu Dazhi, Wu Gejianxiong, have been arbitrarily detained by the Chinese government for 719 days. Cheng Yuan is a founder of NGO Changsha Funeng. In the 2 years prior to their arrest, the Changsha Three contributed greatly to advocating for and protecting the rights of Chinese human rights lawyers, especially for those whose licenses were revoked. They have sacrificed much for their efforts. They are now personally experiencing being stripped of their rights to legal defense and communication. Wu Gejianxiong was also first to dismiss his own father, lawyer Wu Youshui. Our families are kept in dark about the government-assigned lawyers, whose identity is apparently a state secret. They too face brutal torture, as well as the pain of knowing that our families facing recurring persecution. For example, the day my husband was arrested, I was put into Blackwood, handcuffed, threatened, and put into home arrest for 180 days. And my 3-year-old baby witnessed the arrest of her daddy and the threat against me. And my daughter's church school was also forced to close. I want to alert the international community to the predicament faced by China's human rights lawyers and Changsha Three.
Shengchun, your mic is off.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I restart. Chinese human rights lawyers face increasingly dire circumstances in the practicing process. The following are personal experiences from the lawyers in our families, as well as information we have gathered from other cases. Number 1. Secret detention, violent disappearances, torture, secret trials, and extended detention as experienced by lawyers such as Gao Zhisheng, Wang Quanzhang, Yu Wensheng, and Li Yuhan. Number 2. Illegally prolonged house arrest and denial of freedom of movement. These are examples of non-release releases, as suffered by lawyers such as Jiang Tianyong. Number 3. Direct prevention of lawyers' engagement in human rights cases. 4 lawyers in the Chang Weiping case and 2 lawyers in the Ding Jiaxi case were forced to withdraw. As a client, I made a phone call inquiry into nearly 20 lawyers to ask if they would take on my husband's case. They either did not respond or told me bluntly that the Justice Bureau did not allow representing in Ding Jiaxi's case due to its political sensitivity. In the 2020 Hong Kong 12 case, several lawyers were also forced to withdraw after signing contract. Number 4, lawyers are being threatened before taking on and while handling their cases. These threats include failing their annual inspection, revoking or canceling the lawyer's license, dissolving their law firm, and restricting lawyers and their family members from traveling outside China. In many cases, the above threats have become reality. For example, lawyer Tang Jitian is still blocked by the Chinese government from visiting his seriously ill daughter Tang Zhenqi, who has been hospitalized in an ICU in Japan for 2 months. Number 5, lawyers are prohibited from accepting interviews, posting tweets, and restricted from making statements on the cases and the clients the lawyer are representing. Number 6, the authorities arbitrarily classify case files and force lawyers to sign confidential agreements before they are allowed to read the files. This happened in the case of lawyer Qin Yongpei, as well as the cases of Ding Jiaxi and Xu Zhiyong. Number 7, lawyers are not allowed to make copies of the case files. They are only permitted to view and take excerpts, which makes it very challenging for lawyers to review the case. Number 8, lawyers are prohibited from taking photos or making videos and audio recordings when meeting with the litigant. Meanwhile, meetings with the clients are illegally wiretapped.
Number 9, interference in lawyers' case handling as pertains to legal procedures such as denial of lawyer and client meetings, disallowing lawyers' appearance in court, restricting or prohibiting speech from lawyers during court sessions, blocking lawyers' cross-examination efforts during court hearings, denying requests from witness appearances, and prohibition or restriction of family members' appearance at court hearings. Number 10, forcing the client to dismiss lawyers brought in by family, despite opposition and protest of family members, forcibly assigning government-appointed lawyers. The 6 lawyers in the Changsha 3 case were collectively dismissed and replaced with government-appointed lawyers on the day the investigation period expired. In the Duan Dianxin case, Chen Mei and Cai Wei were arrested for backing up information on the spread of the coronavirus. Chen Mei's lawyer Liang Xiaojun was replaced by government-appointed lawyers. In the Hong Kong 12 case, the defendants were also forcibly assigned government-appointed lawyers. Number 11, in court, public prosecutors and the legal personnel are able to assault and beat lawyers at will. Lawyers' basic rights to defense and personal dignity are also disrespected. To cite a few examples in recent years, in 2017, lawyers Lu Tingge and Li Xiongping were assaulted by the belief when handling a case in Sichuan. In 2015, lawyer Wang Quanzhang was in 2015, lawyer Wang Quanzhang was assaulted by the belief when he appeared in court in Shandong. Lawyer Chen Hai was assaulted when taking cases in Dalian, Beijing, and Tianjin. Number 12, assault by unidentified persons. Lawyer Chen Keyun was assaulted by unidentified persons near his home in Guangzhou this April. The police ignored his calls for help, and he found it impossible to file a report later. In 2017, another lawyer, Li Baiguang, was abducted and beaten by unidentified individuals when handling a case in Zhejiang. Number 13, pressuring human rights lawyers by harassing their family members and close relations. For example, lawyer Chang Weiping's parents and siblings were threatened. Lawyer Lu Tingge's family members were harassed. Kidnapping, and the beating of lawyers' children, such as the son of lawyer Wang Yu, who was beaten and placed under house arrest after his parents were arrested. Lawyers' children forcibly kicked out of school, such as the children of lawyers Wang Quanzhang, Li Heping, and Chen Jiangang, who had their enrollment qualifications forcibly revoked by their schools. Pressuring lawyers' landlords, forcing the lawyers to move out. Pressuring employers of the lawyers' family members, resulting in termination of their employment. Human rights lawyers in China are a solid line of defense for Chinese human rights. These lawyers are now facing immense pressure and making huge sacrifices, making it increasingly more difficult to defend human rights in China. The plight of Chinese human rights lawyers is in desperate need of international awareness and action. Thank you.